So we are doing Vav Amud Bet from 4 lines from the bottom. We are, if you remember, we talked about Rav Chisda yesterday. Last thing we did yesterday, we had a question. We didn't get the answer for it. There was a Marzutra. Marzutra says, what's the difference? What kind of korban they brought? It was kevasim or parim. It was sheep or cows. They might have come in it. He says the difference would be how you read the pesukim in the Torah. The pesuk ta'amim, which we did the Rashi. We didn't understand the Rashi perfectly, but the one we have in the Torah has atnach. So it seems from the way we have it these days, the first korban they brought, it was kevasim. The second korban was parim. So that's what we understood the Gemara yesterday. But we did not understand the dikduk, the grammar that the Rashi explained to us. It didn't make sense to us. I'm sure that there's a way to understand the Rashi that I don't know. Now, Rav Acha bered the Rabba Amar, Rav Acha, the son of the Rabba, said, what do we know? This matter. What does it matter? Is it kevasim, sheep, or we have parim, cows? Leomer hare alai ola ka ola sheignu Israel bamidbar. Let's say somebody comes, we're talking about nedarim. Somebody comes and he makes a neder. He says, I'm going to bring a olah just like the olah, korban olah they brought in the midbar, in the desert. Now, so it makes a difference now. What kind of korban they brought? If they brought kevasim, his neder going to be just like them. He has to bring sheep. If it's parim, cows, then you have to bring cows. My parim havu or kevasim havu. Either one. So that's basically the neder. Anyway, we know this is parasha, by the way. The Abraham, Yaakov Avinu made the neder that he's gonna give his neder when he's gonna come back from the Lavan and everything over here. But in general, we try not to make a neder. There are certain times we are allowed to make a neder. But let's say somebody did, and he said, I want to bring a korban. He doesn't say beli neder. I want to bring a korban just like the korban they brought in the time of the midbar in the desert. Now the question is, what kind of korban he has to bring? He has to bring kevasim, sheep, or he has to bring a parim. It's going to be cows. Gemara says, teku. You know what teku means? This we don't know the answer.
No, I don't know it either.
We don't know. So Gemara says, a lot of times we learn the Gemara, certain halachot, we don't know it until Mashiach comes. We got lost because we are in the Galut right now. Otherwise, you don't have the Beit HaMikdash. This is one of the places in the Torah. Anyway, these days we cannot bring a korban. We don't have korban these days. That's why a person should be careful not to make a neder or anything that I'm going to bring a korban. That's one. By the way, we have this halakha by the Pesach night. When it comes to some people, they have a minhag to have roasted meat. So we don't have korban Pesach these days. Is a problem, not a problem, whatever it is. But what we learned so far, with this piece we had from yesterday and today, Rav Chisda, Rav Acha, and everything, we did not figure out what kind of korban they brought in the midbar. It was the parim or it was kevasim. Okay, we're going to go to a new subject now. We are holding the last line of the Vav Amud Bet. We're going to go, we bring a Mishnah in the Masechet Pe'ah. And we're going to discuss about this matter. Let's see a very interesting part. Tenan Hatam, we learned the Mishnah over there. Elu devarim she'en lahem shiur. These are the misvot that they don't have shiur, which means there is no end to it. Okay? Okay, let's see. Ha-pe'ah. The first one is pe'ah. What is pe'ah? Huh? Okay, no. Okay, that's a pe'ah nochrit in the modern Hebrew. You should know, sometimes most of the times it's good for you to know Hebrew already. So you know a lot of things here I don't know. Okay, so you're better than me. But a lot of times, a lot of words we have, the Lashon HaKodesh, that's what we call it, is different than Ivrit that you know. So over here, pe'ah means corners. Okay? So now, corners are what? This is also called pe'ot. Yeah. Right? Why? Because the corner of your face, your head. Okay? That's called pe'ot. We have pe'ot on your head, you have pe'ot on your beard over here. We are over here, we're talking about the corners of your land, your farm. You have a farm in Eretz Israel, and basically you planting different things in your land. Now, Torah says you have to leave your peot, the corners of your land. You don't harvest it and leave it for aniyim, for the needy people. Okay, that's what it is. So that's what we're talking about. You have to leave some of your corners for these people. And Torah doesn't say how much you have to leave. It doesn't specify the least or the most is how much it's going to be. Chachamim, later on, they came and they said, Echad mishishim, 1/60. Okay? Right. Okay? That's the one of the halachot.
And you need to leave it on all the peot, on all the sides of the, or just one pair?
Asking me like this, you have to learn mishnah of the peot. That's the. Okay. So that's if you want to know more in depth these things, we're not going to focus on it because we're going to get to the what we are looking for. The second one is bikurim. What is bikurim? Do you know what bikurim is? Huh? So okay. So now is bikurim. Torah gave us a commandment. Then we have a land. We have trees of the 7 of the trees of the Eretz Israel. Shiva haminim. The pomegranate, grapes, dates, figs, olive, all these things. You have to bring the first fruit to the Kohen, to the Beit HaMikdash. When he had the Beit HaMikdash, we would bring it to the Kohen by Shavuot. Okay? That's this halacha also doesn't have any shi'ur, doesn't have a measurement how much you have to bring. Okay? So Torah doesn't mention any shi'ur for it. It just says you have to bring it, and if you want to learn more about it, you have to look at the Mishnayot Bikurim. Over there explains how it goes. Okay, very interesting process they used to do with all the nice things and the nice kelim utensils they used to use to bring it to Beit HaMikdash.
We don't know the purpose of why. Right?
We know why. Hashem says, "I give you something, I want something back." Now, who's gonna get this fruit? Who's gonna go to? Who's gonna eat it? Hashem doesn't need your fruits. Right. Hashem doesn't need to eat, right? So Hashem says, you have to bring it to my people, the one that work for me for free. Who are they? Kohanim in the Beit HaMikdash. The Kohanim gonna get those fruits, and they're gonna eat. Right. So when we had the Beit HaMikdash, Kohanim, they used to work in the Beit HaMikdash. They didn't work. They didn't make money. The way they had food from us. From different ways, we give them food. So now Hashem says you have to support them. That's what you do. One of the things you give them is a bikurim. Now the third one, the Mishnah in Peah says, Vehare ayon. Is a mitzvah we mentioned before to go to the Beit HaMikdash 3 times a year. Shalosh regalim. Pesach, Shavuot, and Sukkot. And also that doesn't have any shi'ur, any measurement. Ugmilut chasadim. What is Gemilut Chasadim?
Doing kindness.
Doing kindness to other people. Chesed. Okay? It doesn't have any shiur. How much I could do something good to you, kindness to you? There is no limit to it. A person could do the whole day, go around, giving right to people. There's this guy in Eretz Israel, I think in the Bet Cholim Hadassah, I think. Israel. On Mosai Shabbat, I heard this from Rav Yaakov Yosef Zichron Livracha. He used to go all the rooms, he checked all the rooms to see who needs Havdalah. You make havdalah, few hundred havdalot on the Mosai Shabbat for people until like few hours. Going each room, check who needs, needs havdalah. Either has to make it for them, he cannot make it, or they help them to make it themselves. That's what he did. Okay. So. Okay, very good question. That's you check the halacha. Tell me how I did it. Now we're gonna go over Talmud Torah. This is a very important thing. Talmud Torah, learning Torah, there is no limit to it. There is no end to it. You could learn 200 words, 250 words every minute. Okay, that's a mitzvah of Talmud Torah. You're driving, you're sitting in the doctor office, anywhere you are, you set a time every day to learn Torah. There is no end to it. There is no limit to it at how much you could learn. So basically, all these things we mentioned, which is one of them is nogia to us, is we are talking about going to the Beit HaMikdash and see the Hashem on the Shalosh Regalim 3 times a year. There is no limit to it. Okay, what's the point? Why we have to bring this Mishnah? He says, Amar Rabbi Yochanan Kisvurin anu lomar Hare ayon en la shiur lemala avar yesh lo shiur lemata. Okay, what does it mean? Rabbi Yochanan comes to explain the Mishnah we just learned. In the Mishnah says there is no shiur when it comes to going to Beit HaMikdash to see Hashem. Now, what does it mean there is no shiur? Is it the minimum we are talking about there is no shiur, or we are talking about the maximum you could bring? So he says, lemala, there is no shiur, which means you could bring a cow, $100,000. But lemata, yes, shiur, which means there is a least amount you have to bring for this korban. And if you remember, we talked about the Beit Shammai and Beit Hillel. That was exactly the machloket. That was a machloket. That was the question. What should be the least you have to spend on this korban? Each time you go to the Beit HaMikdash, we don't have it these days, unfortunately. When we have the Beit HaMikdash, each time you go to the Beit HaMikdash, one of the things you have to bring was korban re'iyah. You sing the Hashem, you have to bring a sacrifice. Now, how much it should be, that's the question. But over here we're saying the least amount we know, but the highest amount you could spend on it, there is no limit to it. You could spend as much as you want. At Sheba Rabbi Hoshaya be Rabbi Belimet, then until Rabbi Oshaya, the son of the Rabbi, and he did teach us, Hare ayon en lo shiur, lo lemala, lo lemat. Wow, very interesting thing. So Rabbi Yoshaya, the son of Rabbi, says there's korban re'iyah that you bring to the Beit HaMikdash. There is no limit to it, minimum or maximum. Aval chachamim omrim, but chachamim they say, hare'iyah, the korban re'iyah, ma'a kesef, hachagiga shete kesef. Exactly. So re'iyah, the 2 korban they brought at least. So one korban was korban re'iyah, the olah, they brought is ma'a kesef, which is less than the chagiga, which is the 2 kesef. Okay. So what we see from here, this Mishnah, or Braita we have over here, it goes like who? Beit Hillel, not the Beit Shammai we had in the Mishnah. That's basically what we are saying over here. Now, Gemara goes a little bit further and talks about this matter of the korban re'iyah. May hare ayon. What is the hare ayon? If you look at the Mishnah in the Pe'ah, it says re'ayon. Re'ayon is mashma that not only for the korban re'iyah, it means also for re'iyat panim. What does mean re'iyat panim? To be seen, okay? So now, 2 things we do when you go to do this mitzvah. This particular mitzvah we do, 2 things. Now, we go to the Beit HaMikdash, you bring a korban, and you should go inside the Beit HaMikdash to be seen by Hashem. And you see Hashem. Okay, Hashem is there. Fine. Now, he wants to say the Ra'ayon also applies how many times you are obligated to be seen in the Beit HaMikdash. Korban we already explained. According to Beit Hillel, how much you have to spend. According to Beit Shammai, how much. But when you go to the Beit HaMikdash, you're the Beit HaMikdash right now. If I just go inside and come out, I did the mitzvah or not? How much I need to do?
Based on the Mishnah.
Okay. Okay. Ensure lemala and lemata, it seems like. Okay. So he says Rabbi Yochanan Amar. So Rabbi Yochanan answered the question. It's not so easy. You have to figure out. When you go there, some people they go to Yerushalayim, but they don't do the mitzvah properly. It's a machloket. What to do? Rabbi Yochanan Amar. Rabbi Yochanan said, Re'iyat panim ba'azara. Once you go in the Azara, is a part of the Beit HaMikdash over there, then over there he's going to do the mitzvah. Come there, he show his face as much as he wants, but he does not to bring a korban re'iyah each time. One time is enough. But his face, you could go as much as he wants. Resh Lakish Amar, re'iyat panim be korban. What does it mean? Each time you go to the Azara of the Beit HaMikdash, you have to bring a new korban. Imagine you go there on Pesach, you go inside the Azara, one korban. Then you come out, then later on you go again, you have to get another korban. Huh? I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know where was the restroom in the Beit HaMikdash. If somebody wants to go to the restroom, I don't know. I didn't. They had around there. You had to come outside because you see a lot of times in the Gemara that back then all the bathrooms they were outside the city. It wasn't like a outhouse. Right. So now it's a bit different than these days. They weren't so as comfortable we are, you know. So okay, I don't know. Maybe for the number one, number two makes a difference. Ketanim, Gedolot, I have no idea. So now, so we see over here is a machlok Rabbi Yochanan Resh Lakish. Just something to point out to you. A lot of times in the Gemara, in Talmud, Rabbi Yochanan Resh Lakish, they argue. Even though they were chavruta, even though they were family, huh? They were each other chavruta. They were family. And the very interesting part is Rabbi Resh Lakish, he wasn't religious in the beginning. He was Resh Lakish. He was the head of the robbers. Rabbi Yochanan convinced him to do teshuvah, and I'm going to give my sister to you. And they got, he accepted, became Baal teshuvah. He became so big that he became chavruta of Rabbi Yochanan. When Rabbi Yochanan passed away, then the Resh Lakish passed away. Rabbi Yochanan started to learn with other people. He said, nobody is like him. I cannot learn with anybody else. This is not somebody. You know, so he was a very, very, you know, a person, you see, how far he could get.
What time period were they alive?
That how many years ago? So this is I don't know, 1,500 years ago? 16, 17 years ago. 1,600, 1,700 years ago. Okay? Yeah, that's where it was. Now, Gemara is not finished yet. What's the machloket of Rabbi Yochanan Resh Lakish? So, yeah, they're on there. He says, Gemara says in the Yom Tov Rishon, Be'ikar haregel, kule alma lo pelig. On the first day of the Yom Tov, there is no machloket, there is no question between Rabbi Yochanan and Resh Lakish. The re'iyat panim bekorban. That each time, I guess, you go inside the Yom Tov Rishon, first day of the Yom Tov, you go inside the Azara, you bring a korban. Ki peligi, when they have an argument, b'ame nechleku, bish'ar yemot haregel. We are talking about other days after the first day. each time you go, you need to bring a korban or not. That's a machloket.
So it seems like the korban that you bring covers the whole day, not if you go in and out.
For first day,
In general,
how do you know?
because they say on the first day they are not no machlok.
No. So what's the lo machloket mean?
But you don't need to bring another korban.
No, I think means each time you go in, you have to do. I think everyone agrees on the first day of the Yom Tov, which is first Yom Tov,
You go
the Yad Pani be Korban. What does it mean?
Oh, okay.
Is Rabbi Yochanan model Rashtakish? They agree each time you go, you have to bring a korban on first day. That's everyone agrees. Now the question is from the second day until the seventh day, I guess, whatever it is. So each time you go, do you need to bring a korban or not? Rabbi Yochanan says one way, the Shlakish the other way. That's the machloket. So that's I don't know. It could be somebody learned the Gemara that it says every day. According to Rabbi Yochanan, also you have to bring one korban. I don't know. Maybe some could learn the Gemara that way also. But what it comes out according to this, first day everyone agrees that one time you go is not gonna patur you, exempt you. If you go again, everyone agrees you have to bring it korban again. So now Gemara continues. Kol hecha de ata be'aite. This is the continuation of the discussion now. On the other days of the regel, when it comes to Azara, and you bring a korban ola, kula alma lo peligi. According to Rabbi Yochanan Shakish, there is no machloket the mekabelin on mine that we accept from him. Okay, which means the Torah, the Gemara is saying that other days of the regel, which is from the second day of the Yom Tov, each time he bring a korban, for sure we're gonna take it on Mizbeach. You should know. This is a halacha. We should know. Not everyone bring a korban. We're gonna take it on the Mizbeach, on the altar, because it has halachot. You cannot tell me you not want to bring a korban now. In this situation, Gemara wants to say everyone agrees there is no machloket. If he brings it, we're going to accept it and we're going to take it on Mizbeach. Ki peligi, when is the machloket? What is the argument over here? The ata velo aite. He came to Azara of the Beit HaMikdash, but he did not bring a korban. The Rabbi Yochanan Sovar, Reyat Panim Ba'azara, that there is no shiur. Therefore, Re'iyat Panim Ba'azara, the Chol Emad De'ate, he could come anytime he wants. Lo Sarich Le'etuye. He doesn't need to bring a korban each time he comes. So according to Rabbi Yochanan, we're talking about the second day after, he comes, he doesn't bring a korban, no problem. But you did the minimum, that's why there is no shiur, maximum shiur, so you're fine. Resh Lakish said, no, it can't be. Re'iyat panim bekorban. You cannot come to see Hashem without the korban by second day. The chol emat de'ate, anytime you come, sarich le'etuye. You have to bring a korban, re'iyah, each time. That's interesting. Wow. You know how many korban is going to be? I don't think people go back. They're going to stay there. People, they're not going to go back we come for the Pesach. No. Huh? You have to, that, yeah.
Could a korban be considered a donation, or a donation be considered a korban?
That was a donation those days. Now, let's see. We are different korbanot, which means each korban is different. Certain korbanot, like we were talking about over here, everything gets burned on the mizbeach, on the altar. Certain korbanot, you also eat from it. You burn something on the mizbeach, certain part you give it to Kohen, and certain part you use it for yourself. We're going to see korban chagiga. The korban chagiga, one of the korbanot you have to bring by the shalosh regalim. That you bring it, but part of it is your food. You have to eat and enjoy. You have to be happy. That's why it is. So not everything gonna go to different what kind of korban it is. Over here, we're talking about the korban olah that's gonna get burned all the way. Okay.
Rabbi, how do we know we need to bring a korban for a to begin with?
So which korban?
Like, I'm sure it was answered, but like from the pasuk, it's like Yera'eh kol zechurecha. Like, how do we learn from there that you have to bring a korban?
What? How do we learn korban reyah?
Yeah.
How do we learn that the so? Okay, so what we had at the beginning of the Mishnah, I don't know if Gemara gonna explain it or not later on. So we had in the beginning that the Mishnah said that you have to bring a korban. So now, velo yerau panai rekam, right? Okay, you should not see me empty-handed. When you go to somebody's house, you take a. Okay, that's the first thing we say. For guys also, we say it in the tefillah all the time on the Shalosh Regalim that you should not come here to me empty-handed. Huh?
Was there a conclusion, the Olah versus the Shalamim?
The what?
Olah versus Shalamim.
The
Bet Hillel versus Bet Shammai.
no, it's a machlok. Usually the halacha is like Bet Hillel. Usually, okay. This we should know. We mentioned this 100 times already. So many times, the Gemara you learn, it doesn't mean that's going to be the halacha. Okay, what we learn over here is the base of the halacha. But next level you want to get, which unfortunately we don't have so much time to do it. You have to go do the commentaries, Mefarashim, and then you go to Rambam, to Rosh, Rif, all the Rishonim. Then you go to, if you have Shulchan Aruch on this part of the Gemara, we don't have Shulchan Aruch on it. Shulchan Aruch doesn't go on these parts because it's not Nogeya, it's not doable these days. Rambam talks about it, okay? But Shulchan Aruch doesn't talk about this part, what kind of korban you have to bring, how much you have to spend for it and everything. Because unfortunately, we don't have the Beit HaMikdash now. Once Beit HaMikdash is going to be here, then they're going to send you a text. That's how you should do it. That's going to be. Yeah, that's going to, it's not going to be too hard. They're going to find you.
Yeah, I don't even comment on it. Like, what type of korban?
Here and there, but it's not their focus usually on this halachot that is not so, lema'aseh these days. So usually, most of the Gedolim these days, what they write or talk about is what we are, the Maaseh, or Achaim, what the Yoreh De'ah, all these things we do every day. But you should know, the yeshivot, all these places, they learned against the Gemara Chagiga. Or if you talk to Rabbi Yitzchak, of course he will tell you. So he learned it before. Okay. I heard the story of Rabbi. He came to my yeshiva, this is years ago. This is maybe, I don't know how many years ago. It could be 30, 35 years ago. He came to my yeshiva. So on the spot, he told him to give a shur on certain Gemara. Okay, for him it was nothing. You open the Gemara, you start giving the shur on the what sugya you're learning, daf peloni. Okay, start talking. So he borrowed somebody's Gemara. Okay, and after he finished the shur, he wants to give the Gemara back. He says, "Tell the person who read the Harot on the side it's very nice. It makes sense what he says on the side because he have some notes on the sides." On the Gemara, Arabadia, at the time he was giving shiur, he was paying attention what he wrote on the sides also. He says, makes sense. So yeah, that's this is somebody like Arabadia could do this. All these Gedolim, Rabbi Yashiv, Rashon Zama Orbach, all these people they learn all this Gemara. If you go to the certain yeshivot like Brisk, they learn all the Gemarot related to the Beit HaMikdash. All the Tumat Hara, all these things that are part of the learning they have. Okay, but very nice. First of all, Moshe could tell you what to do. Okay, you have Eliyahu Hanavi is coming, or whoever gonna be there. But at the same time, we talking about people that don't know the halachot, but put on tefillin every day. You don't tell him go learn the halachot of the korbanot. What comes first? If you want to focus on this halachot and you don't know the halachot Shabbat, you don't know halachot the kashrut, all these things, what's the point? You're not using it right now. I understand the Torah. You get sechar, you get reward for it. But the focus should be first on the halachot that you needed on daily basis. That's what it is. That's why usually when you have people that give halachot, they're not going to go on the halachot of the korbanot. They're going to go halachot of the lashon hara, Shabbat, kashrut, ta'arovet. So even some certain halachot, these things are not again melicha. I learned halachot melicha. What's melicha? You have to salt the meat after you shech the meat. So we were used to it when I was a kid. We used to it in our house. We didn't have a supermarket to go get it. Now people, like anyone you ask, they don't know because they don't do it anymore.
How come it disappeared? Because I remember also when I was a kid, my mom used to.
Because people get lazy. They don't have time, or
But you buy it already.
I don't say lazy, not a good word. People that get so busy with life, they don't. I remember when I was a kid, they used to buy 20 kilos at once. They have to clean it first. It wasn't clean. You have to know how to clean the meat. Which part is the fat? It's going to go into the garbage. How you clean it. Then you have to know how to salt it. Everything you have to know. So that's how they're going to do it. But these days, they're doing the companies. They made it ready for you. Baruch Hashem, they do it. And so many people, they eat kosher because of that. They go buy it right now and use it. Okay? So that...
Did the Chachamim know that we would be where we got to today, where we need someone else to assist us in knowing these?
Okay, so let me tell you something. When we say Navi means a prophet, okay? Prophet knows only what Hashem sent to him. So he doesn't know everything. So you might not know what you're going to eat tonight, okay? Because Hashem doesn't want him to know. Certain things Hashem wants him to know, he knows. Certain things he doesn't know, okay? And each prophet could be different. So maybe this prophet knows, the other prophet doesn't know. Whatever is necessary for that person to know, Hashem will tell him. So not necessarily they know everything. So whatever Hashem send it to them, text it to them, they're gonna get it and they're gonna tell you. That's how it goes with them. Okay? So they don't, not necessarily they know everything about your life, everything, what's gonna happen to you. Usually what we say is Chachamim, the Gedolim, holy people, they have more siyata dishmaya. What is siyata dishmaya? They have help from the heaven. That what tell you to do is going to work. And also we have another, Sadiq Gozer, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mekayem. Sadiq says something, Hashem does it because he's a Sadiq. Hashem, he's a holy person. When he says something, Hashem goes, that's what you go bracha from who? From somebody's a Sadiq. You don't come to me. You go to the Sadiq, he knows what the bracha, how it goes. Okay, so he's going to give you the bracha, it's going to work. That's how it is.
Who determines someone becoming a tzaddik?
100% Sadiq. I don't know who would say 100% Sadiq, but we know people in this generation that are the Gedolim.
So we still have tzaddikim today.
Right. Let's say Harav Yosef, he passed away. Let's say the Harav Eliashib, who passed away. We have other Gedolim in Eretz Yisrael right now. There are Gedolim that you go, that you see. Right. All these people we have in Eretz Yisrael.
So I think we also have, Rambam's definition that he has more mitzvot than averot, zechuyot than
Right. But we know as Torah itself, we are, by the way, only nation, only religion we go that way. Muslims and Christians, they don't go that way. We believe even somebody in the level of the Moshe Rabbeinu, he might make a mistake. Okay? In his level. Not comparing with me and you, we are very bad, we are very much worse. But in his level also, Hashem expect from him to do a certain way, and that's why he didn't go to Eretz Israel. If you look at the Muslims and the Christians, they say, no, our prophets, they never make a mistake. But if you learn the Torah, the Tanakh, it's full of these things. Started from Moshe Rabbeinu, we have Avraham Avinu, we have all these people, right? We have all the prophets. They said do different thing. Yonah, he made a mistake and did teshuvah. So we have all these things. Shimshon. So we have all these things in the Torah. That's is a lesson for us. That gives us the chizuk, that basically help us to go forward full force. Because sometimes we think, you know what, I make mistakes all the time. What Hashem wants from me, so I cannot give up. Hashem says, don't give up. You try. You have to make it better every day and every day. That's the purpose of life. We want to get to the point that Hashem wants us to get to. So each one has a purpose in life. You cannot compare yourself with anybody else. I'm not Moshe Rabbeinu, okay? And I'm not Yehoshua. I'm not all these tzaddikim. But Hashem has a goal for me in life. I have to get to that goal I have in my life. So that's why I have to focus on it and do it. That's what I have. Hashem wants you to improve. I share with you one about Torah. I heard this from a friend about the Moshe Rabbeinu. You know, in the beginning, when the Hashem came to Moshe Rabbeinu and told him, I'm going to choose you to be a leader of the Jewish people. He said, no, I don't want to go. For 7 days, I think. They were arguing. Okay, go. So I don't want to go. So what's the discussion? Well, Moshe Rabbeinu doesn't know that he's the most qualified person that he could do the leadership. What's going on? Well, he says, certain Devar Torah, which is always I carry it with me, it's something I use it all the time. He said, Moshe Rabbeinu says to Hashem, listen, Hashem, I'm, of course, I understand, I'm very high level, I'm a good person, but maybe I'm not shalem. What does it mean, shalem? I didn't get to the point you want me to get to. You expected me to get to 900, maybe right now I'm 899. But could be somebody else, you expected him to get to 500, and he got to 500 already. That person is better than me. Okay? So in life, Hashem sees you, how much you work and how much you put into it. It doesn't mean that somebody comes to shul every day is the biggest tzaddik. Maybe he does other things that Hashem doesn't want him to do. Maybe that person who came to shul once a year, he did better than him because Hashem didn't expect him to come to shul even once a year. You understand what I'm saying? So that's life. Hashem has a certain image of each person where he has to get to. So that should be your goal in life. That with Hashem, we're going to get to that goal. Anyway, so I want to ask you a question. We are in the middle of the discussion. I don't think we're going to finish this discussion today. The Reish Lakish is going to ask you a question on Rabbi Yochanan. He says, Eitive, Reish Lakish Rabbi Yochanan. Reish Lakish asks a question on Rabbi Yochanan. The pasuk says, Velo yera'u fanai rekam. The Torah says, you should not come to me empty-handed. Okay? You cannot come to me empty-handed. So why you saying that, according to Rabbi Yochanan, you don't need to bring a korban each time? Reish Lakish said each time you come, he understands Reish Lakish. The pasuk means each time you come to me, you have to bring a korban. Amale Rabbi Yochanan answered back, Be'ikar haregel. This pasuk only talking about the main part of the regel, of the chag, which is the first day of Yom Tov, the first Yom Tov. You cannot tell me, he says, Rabbi Yochanan to Reish Lakish, this pasuk talking about every day. He's talking about when you come the first time, which is by the Yom Tov Rishon, the first Yom Tov, that's the time you have to make a korban. Amale, so we did this. 80, another question that Reish Lakish asked Rabbi Yochanan. He says, Velo yerau fanai rekam. Okay, the same pasuk. He says later on that bizvachim. Okay. So what's the question now? What's the difference with the question before? I understand. What's the second question after the Reish and Rabbi Yochanan? What is Zavachim? Zavachim means something you shecht. You do shechita. La'apuke what? It's coming to extrude what? Usually Zavachim is something that you do with a knife. Okay, sakin. Okay? Not korban menachot, the korban flowers, wheat flowers they use bring. So, what do you see from here? What's the question? What's the question of Reish Lakish and Rabbi Yochanan? Okay, let's do this tomorrow. think about the question. Be'ez Hashem, we continue tomorrow about the Zevachim. We're holding by question after the Shlakish on Rabbi Yochanan. The pasuk says Zevachim.